What is up, guys and gals? It's me, Thomas Fan01 here, and it's been a minute since we've actually talked about some Thomas the Tank Engine stuff. Today we're actually going to be talking about this thing. Actually, we're also going to be talking about this thing. So, yeah, why don't we just jump into it? Why don't we just jump into this? So firstly, we're going to move this one off to the side, and we're going to talk about, well, the Flying Scotsman. And to continue with that, we have the box right back there. But normally you guys don't see me do this type of review here. You don't really normally see me with Thomas the Tank Engine merch. Usually I come out with a Transformer. We talk about its scale comparisons. We talk about what it's going to be like when I get it in robot mode, what it's going to be like when I get it in vehicle mode, or whatever it be. I usually don't do this, but today we're going to be taking a look at something that I actually have been wanting to take a look at for a long time, okay? I've had this for nearly a decade. I may have reviewed it once, but it was not a very good review. As y'all know, I did not have access to certain tools back then, and, well, I do have access to them now. So this is a much-needed refresh. So, to really start with this, and I mean, the things that you have to do to this in order to make it run on modern day track is ridiculous, okay? So to start off with this, I do firstly, thank you Andrew Brenner and Ian McHugh for giving us The Great Race, however flawed it was, a movie, but I will say this, you gave us some really good merch. You gave us the Flying Scotsman, you gave us, what was it, Shooting Star Gordon, you gave us Streamline Thomas, you gave us, well, I don't think they actually did do this, but they might, I don't know if they did give us a Shima or not later on, but they could have, I just don't remember. But anyways, the point is that we were gifted a grand lot of characters, and this guy happened to be one of them, and because it was the Flying Scotsman, they couldn't say no and put him in the movie. So that is one thing I'm going to say about this guy here. Now, here come the negatives. Why did you put the stupid steam effects on him? That was one thing we did not need with the Flying Scotsman. So, yeah. And now we'll get into this. Standardly, this thing comes, or it doesn't come with, but you're supposed to put 2 AAA batteries in this thing, as opposed to regular and old Trackmaster and Tomy products, which you only needed 1 AA battery, or 1 C battery, or 1 D battery, whichever one you needed. The other thing you had to do was you also had to shave down this activation piece right here. And I will show you what a unshaved one looks like with the new Flying Scotsman. So, as you can clearly see, they both are pretty much the same in terms of their wheelbases and everything of the nature, but as you can clearly see, this one is not filed down, and this one I had to file down, because if I didn't, it wouldn't have been able to run on the blue track. This will not run on blue track, so do not attempt to tell people, oh, it's going to run on every single track. It does not run on every single track. So yeah. Now, I gotta say, I do and do not like the face. I like it, but I don't like it. I would love to know what on earth Mattel was thinking when they came up with this face design. But then again, I don't know, because at the same time, let's remove the tenders here. They're starting to get in my way. So I can't say that's a bad thing, but I can say it's bad that they chose to keep it. So, yeah. And also, you can really tell that this was a true basis of Gordon's mold, because this is the buffer beams on this guy are more accurate than the buffer beams on this guy, or at least these ones, but I mean, at the same time, if you look at the running board and everything of the nature, it's still the same. So I can't really complain too much on it, but I can complain in the fact that they literally took this face and upscaled it for this body. So yeah, not real too thrilled about that. And not to mention, they also changed up the greens as well. So this is more of a dark, like evergreen foresty kind of green, and this is more like a green apple type of color, which is more what the LNER actually wears. This is what it used to look like at one point in history, but this is what they chose to go for with the show. So I do believe this guy was painted in this type of green at one point, but this is the green that they more likely will go with on the real railway. Give me just a moment here. So, now, as far as the rest of this goes, I gotta say, I'm quite excited, though, for the next line of Trackmaster. So let's remove this guy for a quick minute here. And let's talk about this dude. Anyways, if you guys may or may not have noticed, my good friend Riveted Review managed to get the Thomas the Tank Engine and the James of this new line, which is the classic series stuff that they're trying to go for again. And when I say classic series, I'm kind of joking, but also kind of not joking. It literally says on the box, Classic Flying Scotsman. Now, this could tell me one of two possible things here. One, they could just be pandering to the fans that they lost when they did Bwubba. They could just be doing that, okay? They could 100% just be doing that. They could be giving us fan service for Bwubba. They could be giving us fan service for All Engines Go. I'm not looking for total perfection with this, but what I am looking for is an answer. So, my reasoning for this next questioning portion here, and by the way, they screwed up his eyes so bad. Let's just quickly look at those. Look at how off-center that is, A. That's not even centered to his face. And look at how, like, it's just like they did like an ink thing, and there's... So, like, you can see it around the edges of his pupils. I'm not a big fan of the fact that they did that, but from a distance, it pulls it off and looks okay. So, but anyways, I gotta say, Mattel, what are you gearing us up for? What are you gearing us up for, and what are you getting us ready for? Now, let's take a quick look at the tenders whilst we continue this segment. So we'll take a look at the coal car first, and then we will take a look at the extra water tender. Now, when I originally took a look at this guy in stores, I genuinely thought they took this tender and seriously redid it with this. But from what I understand, this is also Henry's tender. So you can definitely tell they did do some stuff that's different, but they didn't do enough to it that's going to change everything. So I truly thought they took this tender here and they redid it with this, and they literally just repainted it in like they took this mold and they redid it in a green plastic like that. But I never noticed it before until now that this is more likely than Henry's tender than it was going to be. So I also do not like the fact that there are, steam effects on this tender, but, then again, what's new? So, in terms of these tenders as well, you may also notice this lining is more spaced out, and the lining on the tender is a lot more even. This one, or maybe not, isn't a lot more even, it's a little more uniform and true to what the show showed. This is more what Bwubba showed, and I don't even know where this spacing of these letters came from, because they're supposed to look something like that. So, but I cannot complain terribly too much. Looks like we're going to have to do some customizing again, much like this one we did a long time ago, so yeah. So now that we've done that, we'll remove those ones, and we shall bring in the water tenders. Now, the water tenders here are very, very simple and easy and interesting. Again, don't like the steam effects on this guy. I do like the detailed... If there is one thing I do have to give these new tenders and these new cars in actuality, is I do like the way that they've sculpted the top here. They've given it much more interesting detail. I do like that. What I don't like, again, is there's more uniformity and more like real life basis going on with this tender here, with this one right here. This one you're not getting so much. So again, the coloration, same thing, same deal. And now we'll bring both of the engines back in for a final comparison as to them side by side, and then we shall end the video in comparison and which one I'm going to suggest for you to buy. So, in terms of what you want for accuracy, if you want an accurate Flying Scotsman, like, and you don't care about aesthetics, you don't care about certain things, you don't care about, you know, a lot of other issues, then I'm gonna say this one's the one to go for, because this is very true to the show, very true to the books, very true to the Great Race, and very true to everything else. This is very true to Big World Big Adventures. Now, I don't have a problem with Big World Big Adventures. I just had a problem with, actually, the whole show. I had a problem with Big World Big Adventures, but I don't really have a problem with this character. So I'm going to say this one right here deserves a ranking on our scale. I'm going to put the Great Race version at a good... you know what? This is actually going to be a rare, weird time where I'm going to honestly suggest, if you can afford both of them, get both of them. If you can't afford both of them, hey, once again, no problems. But I don't suggest owning this one if you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, get this one. Or if you can't afford it, go to your heart's content and get this guy. If you can't afford it, get this guy. I leave that with you. So, anyways, this is your video for the Flying Scotsman of Trackmaster 2 and Trackmaster 2.5. And I leave these engines with a ranking of... Great Race version gets a 7.5, and Big World Big Adventures version gets a 6.5 to 7. So I do suggest that you do get. Honestly, usually anything on this channel that is above a 6 is usually relatively a good figure. If anything lower than a 5 is something I would not suggest anybody buy. So 7.5 to, or 7.5 to 7.6. 6.5 to 7. So seriously, I recommend both, but yeah, if you can afford this one, get it. If you can't afford it, then get this one. So anyways, this is Thomas Fan of One saying, do not forget to check out Jordy's Rail videos, Patrick with, or not Patrick with a Y, Patrick's Voice Rail, excuse me. He is currently, as we are filming this, he is in Wales meeting up all the Tallyclin Railway engines. So please go check his channel out, as he is doing some really cool stuff, and I know he's going to be uploading some videos here soon. And please do not forget to check out Riveted Reviews and Riveted Rail Fan. Do not forget to check out Alexander Rothschild, and do not forget to check out Take Along Productions, Bravely GG, iStar 552, and once again, this is Thomas Fan of One saying, please don't forget to keep playing with your trains.